It is 2 days to the March 26 National Convention of the ruling All Progressives Congress, the APC. Reports making the rounds say that the governors of the ruling party have declared their support for the candidate endorsed by President Muhammadu Buhari, and that a process of consensus candidates is also in motion. However, there were speculations that the president may have backed out of his support for former governor of Nasarawa State, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, who missed the screening exercise of yesterday, March the 23rd. Among the national chairmanship aspirants to be screened by the committee are 2 former Nasarawa State governors and 7 senators, Tanko Almakura and Abdullahi Adamu. Also to be screened ahead of the convention are a former governor of Benue State and Minister of Special Duties, George Akume, Niger East Senator Mohammed Sani Musa, a former Deputy National Chairman of the defunct Congress for Progressive Change CPC, Saliu Mustafa, and 37-year-old Mohammed Itsu. Worried by the cracks among governors and leaders due to the bickering over APC chairmanship and the refusal by aspirants to step down for each other, the president invited the aspirants to the presidential villa yesterday. The meeting at the villa is believed to be the binding factor that will likely address how to have a rancor-free convention. Joining us now from Abuja to discuss the All Progressives Congress Convention, which hosts this Saturday, the 26th of March in Abuja, is Abubakar Sani Bello, Governor of Niger State. Good morning, Governor Bello, and thank you very much for joining us on the morning show.
Good morning.
Yes, thank you very much indeed. Well, quickly, how did the meeting with the president yesterday go? What is the mood among the governors? Because the president was very clear. He said the governors should try to unite. He was preaching unity, and he recommended that the governors should come together, agree on the consensus option for all the available positions, so as to prevent a situation whereby the opposition may be allowed to get their dirty hands on the presidency of Nigeria in the future. Now, I'm joking, but I'm quoting what the president was quoted as saying. But what is the mood among the governors? What is the state of play? How ready is the party, APC?
Well, thank you very much. Like you said earlier on, the governors were invited by Mr. President, and we had a very good meeting. The president spoke very well to the governors, and he offered his suggestions or advice that we should probably go more for a consensus, because you know, sometimes with elections, we as Africans or Nigerians were bad losers. So it's always better when you have a consensus and you amicably resolve on one candidate. So I think that is the way forward. That is the position as at now. All governors are on board. We're looking at how we can have a hitch-free convention. So most of the governors and the stakeholders in various zones are at the moment interacting and consulting themselves so that we have a consensus. With regards to the preparations for the convention, I think we've made reasonable progress. All the subcommittees have started their assignments. The venue is being prepared. Screening is ongoing. Accreditation has held their meetings and what have you. So I think we're good to go.
Right. It's been reported that that time-honored APC tradition of going to the convention with a consensus candidate for national chairman, we're not going to witness that this time. It has also been reported that President Buhari's favored candidate, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, has been opposed by some of the governors. Can you shed some light on that situation? Because it's always been the case from Chief Bisi Akonde, Chief Odige Oyegun, Comrade Adams Oshomole, APC has always managed to achieve a consensus. If that is not the case this time, does that indicate that rancor remains amongst the ranks of the governors?
Well, either way as you look at it, first of all, like I said earlier on, the preference is to have a consensus candidate. It makes it a lot easier for everyone. But in the event that doesn't happen, then you go for elections. But I think the most preferred choice or mode of getting the chairman is through a consensus. But if that doesn't work, I think we'll go for elections.
Tomorrow, but there are still divisions in your party. Some people said there was the unity list put forward doesn't unite the party. In fact, it divides the party. There are divisions as we speak, 2 days to your convention. How are you reacting to all of this?
Yes, in every aspect of life, when you have more than 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're talking 10, 15, 20 people or more, it is difficult to have everyone on the same page. But what is important is how to manage the situation. In the end, I believe we'll come out strong, and in the end, I believe we'll come to an agreement, some sort of agreement or a consensus. And the convention will go on peacefully, by God's grace.
No, Bello, before you joined us, we were discussing the debate in the National Assembly yesterday over the contentious Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act, which says political appointees cannot be delegates in any primaries or convention. And there are some members of your party who have called on the caretaker committee to the effect that the APC needs to be careful not to allow persons who will run against the Section 84 of the Act to take part in the Saturday convention. Otherwise, the outcome of that convention may be invalidated. Is the caretaker committee considering that suggestion in order to just be on the safe side?
First of all, chairing the convention committee has made me very busy in the last few days, so I haven't been paying attention much to most of these activities going on. But yes, I agree, it's a cause for major concerns. And at the caretaker committee level, I believe it will be looked at properly so that we don't put anyone at risk. So I think, yes, you're right, it is something to carefully look at, which I think we'll do eventually within the next few hours.
Right, you're definitely erring on the side of caution because it was reported that you've asked political appointees in Niger State to resign at the end of the month if they're aspiring to any kind of office in 2023. But I want to ask you about security in Niger State. It's also been reported that according to you, that bandits have taken over 12 local governments in Niger State. What are you doing to address this menace?
You have sporadic activities of bandits around 12 local governments. It doesn't mean they've taken over the entire local government. But what it means is that they have access into those local governments. They come in and out. And in the last couple of weeks, the security agencies have beefed up their acts, and they've dealt decisively with most of these bandits. So as we speak right now, most of these local governments are free. And the number of bandit activities has reduced drastically. So yes, they had presence in 12 local governments. We still have isolated cases, but not frequent ones as we used to have. So yes, I think we've made reasonable progress in that direction. There's still a lot of work to do, and we're engaging the security agencies, and hopefully, I hope that before the rains come fully, that most of these local governments will have some peace that time so they can go to their farms.
So a lot of people are looking at political landmines ahead of the APC. Number one will be the fact that some people in the party are complaining that the president is making all the directions and they're not happy about it. It's supposed to be a party that has some level of internal democracy. Secondly, the fact that some governors are using some of these national officers to fight against their political opponents. A case in point is the case of Omishore. Some say Governor Oyetola is definitely putting Omishore in there to be able to fight against the adversary, Rauf Aregbesola, still of the APC. I mean, what do you say about these landmines on ground?
Well, I mean, it depends on how you look at it, and everyone is free to make his own assumptions. But what I believe is that there must be leadership in whatever situation we find ourselves. As it is right now, we have a president and he's leader of the party in the country. It is expected that the president will provide leadership and will bring everyone on board and mediate when there are issues amongst party members. With regards to appointing national officials, I haven't heard of any complaints from anyone being intimidated by any national officer. In any case, the convention has not taken place yet. What we're seeing now are mere proposals. No one knows what will happen at the convention square. So there are lots of speculations, but for me right now, I think we should focus more on making sure the convention takes place.
Well, Governor Bello, there is a group called, is it Niger North Central Democracy Group, led by one gentleman called Tijani. And 2 days ago, he was saying that you need to provide leadership as the most prominent political leader from the North Central region to ensure that the wrangling, the contestation among 5 aspirants for the chairmanship position of the APC from the North Central, do not cause any problem. And if the North Central should lose that position that has been zoned to that region, that you, Governor Bello, should be held responsible. Are you aware of this, and are you making any effort to forge consensus?
I have never heard of that group or the names you mentioned, but let me also respond to what you said. Yes, it is true that we have 5 qualified aspirants for the chairmanship, and I honestly believe each and every one of them is capable of managing the office properly. But in the end, only one person will get it. I have no doubt in my mind that definitely it will come from North Central. It's already been agreed in a gentleman agreement that the chairman should come from North Central. So there is really nothing to worry about. And I think, like we said earlier on, we're working on the consensus candidates based on our consultations with Mr. President.
Right. Can you take us through the process through which you got to this point? Because really there has been progress made. Like you said, the national chairman, there's been an agreement it must come from the North Central. That wasn't the case before. You had aspirants from all over the North vying, but some of them have stepped down because of the fact that that agreement has been reached, that the national chairman must be from your zone. Now, what was that process like, and how will you bring some of that to bear with regards to the fact that you still have 7 people vying for this, and really you only need 1? How are you going to go about whittling down this list of 7 to just 1?
First of all, in this business, there is no must. I think I should make that clear. There is no must. This is a democratic system. It's not a dictatorial system. Secondly, even when I said it to come from North Central, is because there is a general agreement between not all, but most of the stakeholders based on Mr. President's suggestions that we should look at North Central. For whatever it is, for what it's worth, we in the North Central believe that yes, we should have a national chairman for North Central. I don't think we've had that opportunity in the past. Considering the fact that we usually provide block votes when it comes to elections. So I think we qualify to vie for the highest office as far as the party politics is concerned. So, like I said, it is difficult to, when you have 7, 8 people that feel they are qualified or entitled to become chairman of a party like APC, you have to be very patient and you have to deal with the situation. You have to be very resilient with regards to how you bring everyone on board. I have no doubt in my mind we still have 48 hours or more to convention. This is what I call the injury period, and this is what I call the action time. I believe that in the next couple of hours before the convention day, in fact, probably on the convention day, I hope we will see more of the aspirants withdraw from the race so that we limit the numbers. it is my hope, it is my sincere hope that we get one consensus candidate. But like I said earlier on, if that doesn't happen, it means we have to go for elections.
It's good you talked about injury time, but also if you follow football premiership, there's something called Fergie time. It was due to Alex Ferguson in his heydays that Alex Ferguson will always score a goal when you least suspect, when the game is about to come to an end. Do you think that those opposing to your unity structure and unity list and consensus might just score a late Fergie goal against you guys at the APC? The faction saying we want consensus.
Well, eventually someone will come out victorious, but I hope in the end we all agree at the consensus candidate that is good for the party, that will push the party forward, and that can help build the party. So, back to your question with regards to injury time, yes, I'm new in this business, but I know sometimes, or in most cases, the last hour is very, very key, and a lot of changes can happen within those moments.
Governor, you seem confident that the chairman will come from the North Central, although about 24 hours ago,
I hope so.
The party said anybody that is interested from anywhere can show interest in order to avoid litigation. But who is likely to be the consensus candidate in your view from North Central? Would that possibly be former Governor Adamu or Sani Musa or who? And then quickly, the president.
Well,
the president. I wanted to add a follow-up question. The president yesterday said anybody that agrees to step down, who had already paid for the nomination form, that the money, the deposit should be refunded to such persons. Did the governors agree on that score?
Well, being the chairman of the North Central Governors Forum, it is my duty to ensure that someone from North Central gets the chairmanship of the APC. On the other hand, recognizing Mr. President as our leader, our political leader and president of this country, it is also my duty to see that we align our position so that we all agree on common grounds on a specific candidate. So at the moment, yes, we're looking at Senator Abla Adamu based on the suggestions by Mr. President for whatever reasons. But I believe that this is a democratic system. If the other contestants do not key in or buy into this idea, it is their legitimate right to contest. So, but we hope that this matter will be resolved within the next couple of hours or within the next few days.
Right, we'll all be, keeping informed on that score. But can you tell us what is the future of your party? Because it's been posited by several people, I'm sure you've read reports, that the APC is really standing on shaky ground at the moment. The president's intervention by way of his letter to the chairman of the Progressives Governors Forum seems to have calmed waters. But for now, beyond the convention, beyond this goalpost of the convention, since we're talking about football analogies, what is the future of your party? What are relationships like within the party? Will your party survive the rancor that we all witnessed that became extremely public in recent weeks?
Every party has its own problems. I have no doubt in my mind that the future is bright for APC. Of course, APC being a fairly new party grew to what it is within a very short period. And when you have thousands of people with different ideologies in one room, you're bound to have differences of opinion. So the party is still growing. We're still getting to understand ourselves better. We're still getting to know ourselves better. We're receiving more people into the party. So all this will take time to address. But with regards to the future of the party, I can tell you that the future is bright, and the next elections will determine what the future of APC will be like.
Right. And still in the still in the spirit of football analogies, like Tunde stated, have you introspected to check properly if there are any litigations or any landmines here and there, so that it will not be a time where, when we use VAR to check your convention, it might be scuttled. Have you introspected?
Yes, we are monitoring closely what is going on with regards to what you mentioned earlier on. We're doing our best. For some of us, to be honest, it surprises us to think that someone will not want the convention to take place, and we all know having a convention is the right thing to do. It's better for everyone. It's safer for everyone in APC. I hope our party members, even when you are aggrieved, you go through the party machinery to resolve your issues instead of going to courts and thereby jeopardizing all the efforts that has been put in place in the last few weeks. We've made reasonable progress. It would be a shame to see all that sleepless nights, all those resources and the hard work by our party members go in vain. So I hope we don't get to see any court orders or whatever in the next few days. Consultations are ongoing. We know, arising from the previous congresses, there are issues in some states. It is difficult to address all those issues, but I think it is also important, in the spirit of fairness, to look at some of those states so that we get a fair balance of what is happening in those states, especially those states where you have major critical stakeholders at each other's throat. So we have to play the games by the book. But yes, we are concerned about court litigations, and I hope party members would exhaust the party machinery before they go to court. So we're looking forward to having a convention on Saturday, and we continue to appeal to party members, rather than go to court, please use the party machinery to address your issues. And we're ready to listen at the caretaker committee. We have various committees resolving different crises arising from different states.
Okay, I asked earlier that President Buhari has said that the APC should refund monies to candidates who elect to step down and support the process of consensus candidates emerging. And then secondly, this national convention on Saturday, we know that, yes, chairman will emerge, other national officers will emerge. But will it also include the process of agreeing on consensus candidates for the election, for the general election itself, across levels?
With regards to your first question, when you want to reconcile parties, sometimes you have to put something on the table. I guess, even though I haven't spoken to the president, I guess those were his thoughts. For him to get the cooperation and the buy-in of some of these aspirants, it is only fair to refund them their money, because they bought forms looking at or hoping that they will go for election, and each and every one of them you ask will tell you he's very confident that he will win. So putting something on the table, I think, is a good step forward. I have no problem with that. With regards to your second question, on what is your question?
We also include the selection of consensus candidates for the general election across all levels.
Yes. At the moment, we're focusing on the convention, on electing party officials. We're not looking at the election proper or candidates that will run for various political offices. It is safer to unite the party. It is safer to put the party on solid grounds. It is safer to resolve. The party is the platform. Even if you have aspirations for a political office, once the platform is faulty, then you have a big problem. So I think at the moment, all of us should concentrate more on putting in place our national working committee, so that they will run the affairs of the party properly. Then people that want to aspire for various political offices can go ahead and show their intent.
How many delegates are you expecting?
Wow, we're expecting quite a number, not less than 5,000.
Right, not less than 5,000 delegates to ensure that the APC gets back on track. Real quickly, the president talks about restoring sanity to the APC. Do you think sanity has been restored?
Well, following our meeting with Mr. President and following our meetings with the Progressive Governors Forum, and at the same time having seen reports from the various reconciliation committees, I can tell you that we're almost there. Of course, there are some areas that need to be looked at again. Like I mentioned earlier on, especially situations or issues arising from congresses. We still have states that haven't really resolved their differences. Those we're looking at. But apart from that, I think we've made very good progress, and most of you can't have everyone on board 100%, but I'll give it 90%.
So that means 90% sanity restored to the APC, not 100%. Thank you so much for your time,
Yes.
Governor.